this video, we're still looking at how we can factor higher degree polynomials, and we need to look at a special case, right? So when we did quadratics and we talked about factoring, there were a couple of pretty standard methods, and then we actually had a special case called a difference of two perfect squares, which, if you remember, looks something like this. If I had a problem like x squared minus 16, we look at this and we'd say this is not a standard quadratic trinomial that we would factor, but because we can write this like x squared minus 4 squared, the difference of two things that are being squared, then there was a special formula that let us factor this, where we took what was being squared in each in the expression and put it in each of the parentheses. Okay, and then we said one of those parentheses should have a plus sign, and one of those parentheses should have a minus sign. So this was what from quadratics. So now we're looking at cubics and ones that are higher than squared, right? And in this case, we're saying that there is a special case, okay, for the sum and the difference of two cubes. So I'm giving you some formulas right here. If I'm basically saying if you can write an expression, a binomial expression, which means there are two terms, okay, and both of the terms can be written as something cubed, right, we are going to be able to factor them. So if you notice in the first one, there's a plus sign in between the two cubes, okay, and what I'm saying is that if you take the things that are being cubed, the a value and the b value, and you place it in the expression a plus b, that will be one of the factors. The other one will be a squared minus a times b plus b squared. Okay, and then for the cube, the subtraction of cubes, the difference of cubes, we're basically saying the same thing. Whatever's being cubed, you can place into parentheses with a subtraction symbol, and then you can write a second expression, a squared plus a times b plus b squared. So let's take a look at an example, and this will probably make a little bit more sense, okay, when we see it roll out in a problem. So in this first problem, x cubed minus 27, I'm claiming that this is factorable, and that is because we can write this as x cubed minus 3 cubed. Right? 3 to the third power is 27. So because this is now the difference of two cubes, I can use this first formula and say the things that are being cubed are x and 3, so I can write one factor that is x minus 3. Okay? And then the second expression, the other factor that will multiply with x minus 3 to give me back x cubed minus 27, is the first thing that was being cubed. I'm going to square it, so I'm going to say x squared. I'm going to multiply together the things that are being cubed. That would be a 3 and an x. Okay, so I'm going to say plus 3x. Okay, and then I'm going to square the second term as well. That would be the 3, so I'm going to say plus 9. And I would say this is my second factor. This one is not, in this case, not factorable. There is nothing that multiplies to 9 and that adds up to 3. So I'm going to leave that alone and say this is my new factored expression. Okay. So the second one is the same thing, right? I'm looking at this and saying 8x cubed. Well, 8 is 2 to the third power, and x cubed is obviously x to the third power. So I'm going to say that this is 2x all to the third power. If you multiply 2x times 2x times 2x, you are going to get 8x cubed. Okay, and here's the trickier one. 1 is also 1 cubed. If I do 1 times 1 times 1, I will get a 1. So this is 1 cubed. So I'm basically saying I'm cubing two things with an addition sign in between them. This is the sum of two cubes. All right, so we're going to write this as, I'll go up to my expression. It says add together the things that are being cubed. That's what a and b are. 2x plus 1. That's factor. Okay. To get my second expression, I'm going to square a. Well, that would be squaring 2x. 2x times 2x is 4x squared. Okay. I'm going to multiply together a and b after a subtraction symbol, so that would be 2x times 1. Well, that's 2x. Okay. And then I am going to square the second term with an addition sign before it. Well, 1 squared is just 1. So I'm going to say 2x plus 1 times 4x squared minus 2x plus 1. That is going to be my completely factored cubic sum.